How to Adapt to an AI World by Gary Vaynerchuk. We're going to be reacting to an article Gary V wrote today. And what can I say? Sit back, buckle up. This is gonna be a crazy one. Welcome to Index Card Insights, episode 83. Thank you so much for hanging out with me tonight, you guys. And with that being said, let's go ahead and get into Gary's article. I will give you some insights as we go, and I will provide some final feedback at the end of the article. It's not a long one, don't worry. How to Adapt to an AI World, Gary Vaynerchuk. Change is hard, but it's also inevitable. We are often accustomed to certain ways of doing things and may fall into a rut because of that. So many people are doing the same concept in the exact same way for far too long, and that's what keeps them from mixing it up and evolving creatively. The other day, my team at VaynerMedia started a Slack channel to discuss their favorite AI tools, and it was fascinating to see how many of them were creating creatively inspired to adapt AI into their routine. And this is what I'm here to talk about. If you're not using AI in your daily life, you're making a huge mistake. Technology does not give a damn how you feel about it. It is set to do what it could do. If you're so anti-technology at this point, imagine a life where you can't order food from Seamless, not use phones, not to most do most of the things that make life exciting. And that is the hypocrisy. We choose to like technology when it suits us and hate it when it doesn't. Guys, that's going to be my first moment to pause this article. Okay, I want to give you guys an insight. I got someone saying hi real quick. Hey, what's up, man? Good to see you. I can't see everybody's name. Some people, it's something to do with StreamYard and their the way they do things. I don't see everybody's name, but whoever you are out there, thank you for hanging out with me. And hey, back to you, man. Um, my first insight. Okay. So my first insight, when Gary says we choose to like technology when it suits us and hate it when it doesn't, um, he is making a point. Um, he's making a point. Um, he's making a point that people are hypocritical when it comes to AI. But the truth is, you know, first of all, let me just say, hey, Gary Pettit, good to see you, man. Good to see you. Gary Pettit in the house, everybody. What is up, my friend? Um, Gary V is saying that, we're hypocritical for saying we choose to like technology when it suits us and we hate it when it doesn't. But I say this my first insight is that's completely okay. We're allowed to choose to like certain technologies and hate other technologies. It's okay not to like something. Um, I don't think that makes you a hypocrite because you choose to like MP3 players and you choose not to like some kind of technology that's going to take like almost every job known to man from human beings. I mean, that's okay. That's totally fine. You can choose to embrace it, or you can choose to, not really like it. You can choose to embrace it and not really like it. Like it's totally okay to not like something. And that's my first insight for you guys is it's okay to not like AI, especially in the world of marketing. People are saying, you have to embrace it. You're going to be on the wrong side of history if you don't embrace it. Listen, first of all, um, you know, you're okay to not like something, right? It doesn't matter what it is. Don't let any man, woman, child, or CEO declare the narrative for you. You're allowed to say, hey, you know what? This isn't for me. You're allowed to do that. Um, Now, should you embrace it? Should you choose to use it, even if you don't like it? I'll get into that at the end of this episode, at the end of this article. Let me give you two more insights as I read through this article, okay? So, we choose to like technology when it suits us and hate it when it doesn't. Well, technology, as I said, does not care. But if you care about getting on with the times, here are some key objectives to keep in mind to deal with progress and work with AI. First, get good as quickly as you can. Get good at it as quickly as you can. This is something you got to start training yourself and everyone around you. Whether you need it right now or not is irrelevant, but at some point down the lane, it's going to be inevitable. We are going to be interacting with AI every day, and the faster you get good at it, the better it will be. Remember when you met those executives 20 years ago who wouldn't use email, and the secretary would print out those emails and show it to them? Feels odd and weird, right? That is how not using AI tools would feel very soon, because it's here and it's real. Okay, so this brings me to my second insight on this article. Okay, my second insight on this article. All right, there's the quote from Gary Vee. Remember when you met those execs 20 years ago who still wouldn't use email, and their secretaries would print out those emails and show it to them? Okay. Now, guys, this right here, this is like comparing someone who doesn't like cheese to someone who doesn't want to see cheese destroy their entire way of life, right? There's a difference between like someone who doesn't like cheese, i.e., the old execs who didn't want to use email. They didn't like email. They were used to not using email, so they didn't want to use it. So they had their secretaries print out the emails for them. That's fine. That's a guy who doesn't like cheese. It's no big deal. But comparing that to a guy who doesn't want to see cheese destroy his entire way of life is like ridiculous. It's not the same thing at all, right? You know, this idea in this article right here is an interesting one, because it's basically trying to make you feel like you're some kind of dinosaur if you don't really like AI. You know, you're some kind of old dinosaur, some kind of outdated model, just because you don't like this type of technology. But here's the thing: ChatGPT just hit the scene in November, and that's really when all this stuff started picking up steam, back in November of last year. So we're talking about technology that's, barely 6 months old, from the public's perspective. So to think that it's not going to take a little while for people to get used to a technology like this, especially to think that like they shouldn't be a little bit worried about it, is preposterous. Like, I would think any reasonable, rational, intelligent human being would be somewhat worried about a technology like this. If you're not worried, then you're just not paying attention. Um, that's all there is to it. Unless, well, we'll get into it. We'll get into the unless. All right, let's keep going. Um, all right, so that's how not using AI tools would feel very soon, because it's here and real. All right, fear, right? That's an Fuck fear. For those not to know, fear sells, and it's a dangerous demotivator. The concept of fear is as real here as it is in any other context of life. Fear around modern technology is as old as time. This is very much like one of those times where people were opposed to the idea of tractors. Farmers saw it as a threat and thought it would burn the world, but what it did was make the human life easy, and created jobs around it. Fearing AI coming for our jobs is just like one of those things. Always remember, when jobs are taken away, new jobs are created. That brings me to my third insight. And remember, stick around, because I'm going to finish this article and I'm going to have some finishing thoughts for you. All right. But anyways, that brings me to my third insight. Gary Vee says, always remember, when jobs are taken away, new jobs are created. All right. Third insight: when jobs are taken away, new jobs are created. But here's what I say to that: treating this tech like anything from the past, tractors included, is a gross underestimation of what we are dealing with. Okay. This is not the same thing as tractors. Okay. I don't want you guys to think this is the same thing as tractors or the automobile. This is not the same thing. Let me just pause here. Um, Big William Song in the house. Good morning from Singapore. What is up, my friend? Problem is, the new job may not be human based. That's exactly right, William. That's exactly right. Big Shane in the house. Mormazine. ECIC was aware of AI before it was cool or uncool. Man, look at this. Someone who appreciates what I do. Thank you. Thank you so much, Mormazine. Mormazine's right. Not to toot my own horn, but yes, I've been talking about this coming change for a couple years now. Anybody who was in my old ECIC and who's now in my new ECIC group calls would know that I've been talking about AI coming on for the last 2 years. And Yeah, it's just kind of hitting. It's you know what it is. It's just kind of hitting the what do you call it? The catalyst point, right? It's kind of hitting a catalyst point. I think that when ChatGPT broke in November, people really started seeing the potential. Like people that weren't really involved in like the AI scene, they didn't really care about the AI artwork and stuff like that. When ChatGPT came out, it just really, really amped up everything. But you're right. Shane's right. I was talking about this 2 years ago. It's true. Thank you, sir. Um, so those are my three insights. Let's finish up the article, though. I have some closing thoughts for you on this subject. Okay. Um, so keep in mind the AI would still need you for creativity. The other day, I met a journalist who wanted me to tell her how journos can keep their jobs with ChatGPT in the picture. I painted a scenario for them and said, what if you asked ChatGPT to write an article about champagne that focuses on Prosecco being a good alternative for wine and available at a fraction of the price? In the process, I want you to historically reference that something that was the establishment for a long time, and then a product came along that was equal in quality but a fraction of the price. You should speak to it in the manner that quality of flavor is subjective, but the price is not. This way, I just gave her the key point that should be referenced in the article by them and showed her that creativity is about adding, subtracting, and making things make sense. And ChatGPT is no different with that, right? It's interesting. He's talking about Prosecco, but really in a way he's kind of talking about ChatGPT. But that's okay. Let's finish this up. We're almost done here. All right, critical thinking and ideation will be even more important. With AI, the commodity is being destructed, but you still need to come up with ideas. All right. So what he's saying when he says the commodity is being destructed, but you still need to come up with ideas, he's basically like just regurgitating talking points around the AI community that like the mundane jobs will be destroyed, the tedious jobs will be destroyed. Um, you guys ever wonder like what percentage of the job market is like tedious and mundane jobs? Like it's probably pretty good percentage, right? Um, and the thing is that he's not saying is that as AI grows stronger and as AI grows more intuitive, it's going to start eating into more of the jobs, right? It's going to start taking away more of the jobs as it grows stronger, right? Do not doubt that this is a technology that's designed to eliminate 90% of the jobs, right? Don't doubt it because that's the path, right? That's the path, right? Lest I say, ask ChatGPT. All right, so let's get back into this. With AI, the commodity is being destructed, but you still need to come up with ideas. He's saying that you still need someone to be creative. ChatGPT can't be creative for you. That's what he's saying. Lest I say, let's say I ask ChatGPT to write a blog post about VeeFriends and compare it to wine and read it in the voice of Chris Farley. What most of you are missing in the context of worrying about AI is that you still have to feed it with creativity, even though the commodity and the baseline of things remain constant, right? He's basically saying that ChatGPT is going to do the heavy lifting, but you still have to be creative, right? That's what people are missing, right? Um, what I think Gary Vee is missing is the job that he told journalists to do. Like that sounds a lot like the job that their bosses do right now. Their bosses tell journalists to write an article about this or write an article about that, and they are the ones who make it happen. But I get what he's saying. It's about the creativity right now. It's not about the heavy lifting of the article writing. I get what he's saying. This is why it's time to get involved with AI tools in our daily life. What's the most interesting AI tool you've played around with? Tweet your answer to me on Twitter at Gary V. All right, so that's the article, guys. Let me give you my final thoughts on this article. I wrote some thoughts down about this article, and I'll give them to you. Um, Big William says, "I wonder if they create robots to take over construction workers in the future." Yeah, I mean, it's funny that you mentioned that, William, because I was actually reading an article that they're already having like remote construction workers. So they're already kind of like outsourcing a lot of the construction worker jobs, right? Like they can do like this is fascinating to me. They can do like remote operators for heavy machinery, like remote operators for bulldozers. So you can have like a construction crew and you have like a bulldozer or a backhoe, but like the operator for that backhoe can be in like a completely different country, working on your construction crew, right? So if you think, okay, well, if they can do that, then eventually, probably not that far away, they could have like AI be doing that job as well. So like, yeah, it makes sense that that's probably closer than what you think. That has been around in China for years. Okay, so yeah, so there you go. If you think about it, man, if they can do that, and you're saying that's been around in China for years, I wasn't aware of that. That's pretty neat that you mentioned that. Um, yeah, I mean, if they can do that, why couldn't they have an AI doing that job? It makes no sense why they wouldn't or couldn't do that. Basically, anything that you can think of where like it makes no sense why they wouldn't do that because they'd save money, like that's going to be happening. That's basic, right? The only way that wouldn't be happening is if there's government regulation to prevent it. That's the only way that it wouldn't happen. So let me give you some final thoughts on this subject, okay? Like, it's true that right now creativity is the thing that AI lacks. Gary Vee's right about that, and I agree with him on that situation. AI does lack creativity. It's really the only reason why I chose to create another year worth of newsletters, because I know that AI still cannot do what I can do. Uh, I deal with AI a lot every day. I'm dealing with it just because I have to, because of the field that I'm in, and I have to be kept up to date on it. Um, but it can't do like exactly what I can do. Um, but like I don't anticipate, my little newsletter business like existing in the same way in future years that it has existed in the past, because even though AI can't do what I can do, eventually it will be able to do what I can do. And also the perception is it's good enough right now. That's the perception, that it's good enough right now. And perception means a lot. But anyways, I do agree with him about creativity being the thing that's lacking. However, I think that like minimizing, uh, I think it's minimizing, right? The amount of work that AI will take away from humans. I think Gary Vee is minimizing the amount of work the AI is going to take away from humans. I think that there's an entire group of people behind AI and who have a vested interest in its development and advancement, who are minimizing the amount of work that AI is going to take away from humans. There's no doubt about that. Um, those humans have to go somewhere. All right, guys. I'm just kind of reading my notes here, but those humans, they have to go somewhere. All those humans. I was reading an article that said Walmart says 60% of its job force is going to be like 60% of its stores are going to be automated. That's not counting distribution centers. Their actual stores, 60% of them are going to be fully automated by 2026. 60%. Walmart's the largest employer in the world. Those workers have to go somewhere. All right. Now, sure, they can go back to school or they can learn to get more creative. However, it doesn't change the fundamental truth that when you automate workflows, less people will be needed. And I think that a lot of people are minimizing that. When you automate workflows, less people are needed, right? So that's being minimized. When you do that across all industries, which is what's happening right now, this is being done across all industries, pretty much all industries, this is happening right now. You will need less people across all industries, right? That is the fundamental truth, you guys. Now, this is why, if you look into it, this is why you have companies like OpenAI talking about a universal basic income. Listen to this quote from Sam Altman. He's the CEO of OpenAI. He just said this a couple months ago. He said in as little as 10 years, AI could generate enough wealth to pay every adult in the United States $13,500 a year. Sam said in his 2,933 word piece called Moore's Law for Everything. My work at OpenAI reminds me every day about the magnitude of the socioeconomic change that is coming sooner than most people believe. Now, if you don't know what socioeconomics is, that's basically just a fancy way of saying how much money people have, right? How much money people have. Socioeconomics, how much money certain groups of people have. So Sam Altman is saying that this is coming sooner than most people believe. And he's saying, hey, I think AI could generate enough wealth to pay for a universal basic income. He even maps out the amount, $13,500 a year. Wow, $13,500 a year. Thanks, Sam. Somehow, I'm going to guess that you won't be vacationing at the same resort that Sam Altman will be vacationing at on your $13,000 a year. I mean, right? Am I right? I mean, I'm guessing your $13,500 a year is not going to pay for some, extravagant vacation, with with Sam Altman. It's not going to happen, right? Who gave Sam Altman the right to radically change the entire world and decide that now, because we're going to eliminate all the jobs, we're going to go ahead and have AI pay for everyone to have a universal basic income that is basically a pittance. $13,500 a year is, in my book, that's nothing. That's not very much money at all. I don't think that's doing anyone a favor. I think that's, it's insult to injury, honestly. Listen, ultimately, I agree with Gary Vee, okay, that people need to be adapting to this technology and trying to figure out how they fit into it. That's you guys. You need to be adapting to this technology and figuring out how you fit into it, okay? However, I do not agree that you should like it if you don't like it, or embrace it wholeheartedly like it's like the best thing since sliced bread if you don't feel that way, okay? I don't believe that you don't have a right to be angry about the way things are going, and I don't believe you should be made to feel like some kind of antiquated dinosaur who refuses to change with the times. If you choose to not want to deal with it, I mean, I think that's ridiculous. I think it's important to remember that a whole new market will be created by people who were disrupted by AI and would rather buy from humans because AI took their livelihood. So the coin flips both ways, right? All those 60% of employees from Walmart who are going to lose their jobs, some of them are going to go back to college. Some of them are going to get creative and figure out alternative solutions. But all of them are probably going to be very angry. And all of them would probably rather buy from humans, right? Because AI disrupted their livelihood, right? So the coin flips both ways. Either way, I guess fundamentally, Gary Vee is right. You have to figure out how to adapt, how to change in this world. AI is here to stay, but you don't have to like it, and you don't have to run around and act like everyone's an antiquated dinosaur who's not changing with the times just because they're expressing their dislike for the situation. When you got Sam Altman out here a couple months ago, the CEO of OpenAI, out here like flaunting that OpenAI and ChatGPT is going to be able to pay every U.S. Citizen $13,500 a year as a universal basic income. He's out here flaunting that like it's a good thing. This guy's so out of touch with like the average citizen. Like, doesn't he realize that that's actually like an insult? I mean, how would he feel if, it was his job that was going to be taken away? How would he feel if, they were going to, oust him as the CEO of OpenAI and say, "Don't worry, Sam, we're going to pay you $13,500 a year in universal basic income. Stop working, go relax, go play Call of Duty, go play some video games, and chill out for a while. You're no longer needed. Your job's redundant." I mean, he probably wouldn't like it. He's not thinking about that. He's not thinking about the average US citizen like an actual person at all, right? He's thinking about them like a problem that needs to be addressed, something to make his conscience feel better, right? The fact is, this change is upon us. It's here right now. We're all going to have to learn how to adapt to it. We're all going to have to learn how we fit into this new world. But to be made to feel bad because you don't like something is ridiculous. Don't stand for it. Don't stand for it. Just because you have to accept something doesn't mean you have to embrace it wholeheartedly, and doesn't mean you have to feel bad about not liking it. That's all I got. Thanks so much for hanging out with me, you guys. Let me just replacing miners for coal mining. Yeah, right, exactly. One man's meat is another man's poison. There you go. There you go. It's true. Very, very true. Listen, guys, don't let anybody shape your narrative, okay? Yes, this is the world we all live in. Yes, this is the world we're all going to have to adapt to. There's one person who's not going to be worried about a $13,500 basic income, and that's Gary Vee, right? You all know what side of the tracks Gary Vee is going to be on when it comes to AI taking away all these jobs. He's going to be in the driver's seat. He's going to be the one who is replacing all these jobs with AI. He's not going to be worried about, the people who's replacing the jobs he's replacing. He's going to be telling them, "Hey, go get good, figure something else out. I don't need you around here anymore." He's not the one who's going to be worried about it. So, I don't think that you should just like universally accept the opinions and the truths of all these millionaires and billionaires, because, they don't have your best interest at heart, and, their opinions aren't always right thinking. Also, have you noticed all the scrambling that's been going on lately when it comes to AI? Everyone has something to teach about AI. Everyone's trying to tell you how to think when it comes to AI. Have you noticed that? Everyone's trying to weigh in on this. Wait till the robots tell him, "Sam, you're fired." That's right. Then what happens? I'll tell you what happens, William. Here's what happens when they do that. Then he's going to feel like some kind of like regret, like, the guys who like created the atomic bomb or something, right? It's going to be this this weird feeling like, why did we do that? We were stupid. We were fools. Whatever. Look, guys, we kind of got off on one. It seems like every time I start talking about AI, I get off on one here. I just go on and on and on, and I ramble. Sorry. Listen, if you enjoyed this topic, if you want to get to the heart of the matter, if you want to really, really get to the heart of the matter, Shane was telling you the truth earlier. Back in the Epic Conversions Insiders Club, we were talking about AI 2 years ago. I was telling everybody this was coming 2 years ago, okay? And I was telling everybody then, you have to start getting ready for it now, because it's coming, and now it's here. All right. So listen, if you want to get up to date on the newest stuff, if you want to know what's around the corner, if you want to be prepared for things that are happening, guess what? EpicConversions.com. Okay. That's what you want to do, is you want to join ECIC group calls. We meet every single Thursday, and I'm always talking tips, tactics, and strategies, letting you guys know what's around the bend, what's coming on strong, what you need to be ready for. That's ECI group calls for the win. I got a brand new product out. It's a 14 email newsletter written by good old me. No AI. Good old me wrote that newsletter. Written by humans for humans, and the difference is it actually works. It's called the Commodity Chronicles. You can pick that up right now. It's at epicconversions.com. It's going to be on sale until tomorrow at midnight. Then it goes up in price, doubles in price. So be sure to check it out. Big William says, yes, suddenly there's so many experts or gurus in AI. Where'd they come from? Yeah, everybody's scrambling, William. I'll tell you where they came from. Everybody's scrambling to figure out how they fit in to the new world. And on top of that, here's the sad part. William. Not only are they scrambling to figure out how they fit into the new world, they're also, a lot of them are marketers at heart, So they're just treating it like another business opportunity. They're seeing a topical subject that they can exploit and just talk about for a while and make some quick money, right? That's what they're doing, you know? So, yeah, and to say that they're not doing that, I mean, would be, they'd just be lying if they said they weren't doing that. They're scrambling, trying to figure out how they fit into the new world, and they're trying to, at the same time, exploit a topical subject and make some extra money. Um, but most of them are underestimating what this really is, right? And what this is a technology that's designed to replace most humans of their work. And this is not good in my opinion. This is a bad thing. So if you're angry about it, if you don't like it, hey, don't let people shape your narrative and tell you you're outdated or antiquated for not liking it. You're allowed to not like it. Doesn't mean you can't not adapt to it. You need to try to figure out how you can fit into it. And you need to be looking ahead about where things might go. Essentially, anything that you feel like doesn't make sense why they wouldn't have AI doing that, that stuff's going to be replaced by AI, right? That includes a lot of stuff, guys. That includes call center jobs, right? It doesn't make sense why they wouldn't have. Think about it. If you got a call center of like 200 people answering phones, like right now, they do a lot of outsourcing in America. They do a lot of outsourcing call centers to like India and stuff like that. You might have an Indian call center with like 200, 300 employees, right? Well, would it not be better just to have like one AI doing all those calls at the same time, and then maybe just have like a dedicated tier two of like 30 people, and the tier two 30 people, those would be for like calls that the AI couldn't handle. Like that would save that call center so much money. In fact, I don't even know if we'd need that call center anymore. You wouldn't need the call center anymore, would you? What would happen is that the actual company that had hired the call center, they will replace the call center with an AI unit, and then they'll have a small team of maybe like 20 or 30 people to handle the tier 2 calls that the AI can't handle. That's what's going to happen, and you're going to have thousands of people out of work at call centers. That's just one industry. Basically, anything that it doesn't make sense to you why they wouldn't use AI for that, that's going to be replaced by AI. That's just the way it is. I mean, whether you like it or don't like it, that's what's going to happen. Yeah, all missing that human touch eventually. Yeah, you're right, William. You're right, man. You're right, and it's sad. It is sad. There's no doubt about it. It's sad. It's not fun to think about. However, I do think there's hope. I do think there's hope. I don't want to end this on a bad note. I do think there's hope, and I'll tell you guys what the hope is. Um, the hope is this. Um, at the heart of it, human beings are very resilient. We are really good at adapting and finding ways to survive and move forward. So I believe at the heart of it, there will be, croppings of people starting to, stand up and say, "Hey, I don't like this technology. I'm not okay with it." Um, I think we'll have entire industries of people who say things like, "You know what? My entire store is still AI free. I want to run things by humans for humans." Right. And then I think they will have a bunch of customers who shop at those stores because they want to support those businesses. Not unlike, back here in the United States, we had this big Made in the USA campaign that happened back in the 80s, and people tried to buy American. People in America, they wanted to buy American to support their country. I think we're going to have a similar movement like that in the future of people wanting to support human run, human operated businesses. I think that's coming. That's definitely coming. Mormo says full-time hobby economy. Yeah, I hope not. I hope not. I hope not. Um, I don't think anybody just wants a $13,500 a year universal basic income. I think that's a horrible idea by an out of touch individual. I think it's sad, and if you're not insulted by that, then you're not paying attention, right? Because I guarantee you, Sam Altman's not making $13,500 a year, and $13,500 a year ain't gonna send you on the same vacation that Sam Altman's gonna be going on. Okay, Sam Altman and Gary Vee, those cats are going to be like going on vacation together at the same resort, like in, some tropical island somewhere, sitting back, kicking back on the beach, sipping Mai Tais. While everyone else is, making 13 grand a year, like barely able to pay their electric bill, right? So like it's a whole different like situation for different people. So yeah, I don't think that you should feel bad about being angry or being upset or not really embracing this technology. I do think you need to adapt to it though, for sure. You need to have your head on a swivel and be thinking about how you can fit into this world, because there are going to be people who are left on the outside, guys. In my opinion, think about it, guys. How does it make sense that there wouldn't be people left out? Let's just look at Walmart like a microcosm. Walmart says by 2026, 60% of all their stores will be 100% automated. That's only 2.5 years from now. Where does the 60% of that workforce go? Where do all those people go? They're the biggest employer in the world. Where does that workforce go? They're going to try to fit in to the remain. They're going to try to fit into everywhere else, right? So like, obviously it's not just Walmart. Obviously it's a lot of places. So as these jobs start drying up, you're going to have more people trying to fit into fewer jobs. Now, yes, some new jobs are going to be created. There's no doubt about that. People to handle the AI systems, for example, those aren't going to be the same jobs as the people who were like, stocking your shelves at the grocery store. Okay. Those are going to be like MIT graduates taking those jobs. It's going to be a different thing. Now, can people go back to school and get educated? Yes, but it doesn't matter. The math shows the same thing. Just because you have all those old employees going back to college to get re-educated and learn how to like, fix software or fix robotics, that doesn't mean that like there's not going to be less jobs for them when they graduate from college. There's still going to be less jobs for them, you guys, you know? And what that means when you have a situation where it's an employee, it's not an employee, but it's an employer marketplace, what's going to happen is the amount that they can pay you goes down to do those jobs. Right? Do you understand? Like, if they're paying you to fix AI and they got a bunch of people who went to like college to learn how to work on AI, well, if you're a dime a dozen and the people that can fix AI are a dime a dozen, because everybody went to college to learn how to fix AI, because that's where all the jobs are right now. If that's where all the jobs are right now, and everybody went to school to learn how to do that, and there's way less jobs than there are people ready to take those jobs, what does it mean? That means you don't have to pay people as much because they're easily replaceable, right? That's what it means. That's basic, you guys. That's just basic like economics, you know? So like if you can't see that, then like, that's fine, Maybe you don't play chess, maybe you're not used to thinking a few moves down the road. But I can tell you, I am used to playing chess and I am used to thinking a few moves down the road, and I'm telling you, that's what makes sense. It makes sense. Why would I pay people $40 an hour to fix my AI if I can replace this guy with this guy over here who's desperate for work? He knows how to do the job and he'll take $38 an hour. Why would I do it? I wouldn't. I would take the guy who works for 38 bucks an hour. It only makes sense. So yeah, that's coming, man. That's coming, and you have to be ready for that. So yeah, I think the hope is in humans being resilient, and humans being highly adaptable, and in humans supporting humans, right? And that's the bottom line. Big William says, great topic for today. Thanks, Cam. You're welcome, man. I appreciate you all. Thanks for hanging out with me, guys, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace, everybody.